Hi, welcome to the second episode of Time with the Headmaster, Mr. Cadeau. And my name is Mr Cadeau, but I can call me Mr. Cadeau the MC. So, in our last episode, we were looking at some very pertinent things that you should look out for before choosing the perfect school for your child. And in that particular video, I spoke about you going on the admission tour and asking some very important questions. For instance, questions about policy on health, policy on security, feeding, and other things. Good. I believe that you found the first episode very educative. So in today's episode, I will be looking at the final bit of some of the things that you should look out for when choosing a school for your child, and then we'll look at other things. So now, another critical thing that you should look out for when selecting a school for your child is the kind of co-curriculum activity that is done in the school, or we normally call the extracurriculum activity. Now, this is very important because school is not only about the academic work that is being done. Other things are important. It's important for a school to be able to nurture the talent of the student. So if you're taking a child to a school, you should be looking for a school that will be able to bring out that talent in the child, not just about academics. So you need to ask questions. So what do they do? Do they give music lessons, swimming lessons, football? Is there a dance club? Is there a debate club? All these things are very, very, very important because, mind you, not all children will excel academically. There are certain students that will grow up to become fantastic footballers, and you will need to start developing them at a very young age. So now you may not know the talent of your child at that very young age, but then it's important that you also give the child the platform to try the hands on a lot of things. So normally the schools that do very intensive extracurricular activities like swimming, football club, debates, robotics, and all this, and they are quite expensive. But the good news is that the new curriculum has made provision such that every school is supposed to have extracurricular activities every day of the week. So it has been incorporated into our curriculum such that, for example, when you come to my school, 1 hour every day, the students must do some co-curricular activity. So it's either some students who have interest in music are in a music class, or some who have interest in debating are with a debating club, those who want to play football, basketball, any other. So you realize that at the end of the day, whilst you are building academically, they are also being built on the other side with their talent and all of that. So that should also help you in choosing the perfect school for your child. So these are some of the things that you should be looking out for, not only the academic aspect. The academic aspect is another thing. Here, you should be able to ask them what their performance is in a BEC, for instance. But if they don't have a JHS, then you ask around, how is the performance of the children like, and all of that. So those are the things that you should look out for. Now, in today's episode, my main focus is on at what point should you arrange for extra classes or extra lessons for your child. Now, a lot of parents pay for extra lessons for their children, and then it is not yielding results. So you're paying a lot of money after school. Let's say the child closes around 3. The studies teacher comes from 4 to 5, even to 6, but then the child is still performing poorly. Now, know that the children are not machines. You understand? So it is not every child that needs extra classes. And one mistake we also do is that, or we also make, is that in doing the extra classes, we let the teacher teach them all subjects, which is not necessary. So you need to look out for the weakness of your child, and then with the advice of the teacher or the head of the school, you suggest a particular lesson for that child to be taken to. So, for instance, your child is in GHS1, he has difficulties in reading. Now, if you want to take a classes teacher for this child has no business learning things that are even about GHS1. So the classes teacher shouldn't be teaching this child things about GHS1. You should take the child back to the basics, from word formation, phonetics, how to read. That is what the focus should be in. So classes, extra lessons should be focused on a particular area, not everything, or not a continuation of or the topics that they are dealing in the classroom. I noticed that a lot of parents also, because they want to keep the children busy, that they are paying huge sums of money, but then at the end of the year, there's no change in the child. It is because the child is tired. He has learned the board mass and all these things in a class from morning till afternoon. School closes and they've gone back to the same thing. There's nothing of interest, nothing new. So you should be looking out for the specific things that your child needs extra lesson for. So now, one other thing that you should also look out for is that you pay money to a classes teacher. Teachers are not going to like this. You pay money to your classes teacher for extra lessons. Then the teacher brings in other students. Now, the only time you should allow that to happen is when you are assured that that other child that is being brought in for the extra lesson is on the same level with your child. So if they are all having difficulties in reading, then it means that that teacher is going to teach them how to read. But if it is a case where maybe the extra child is coming is better or even a bit below your child, the teacher may be forced to go to that child's level, and your child's needs will not be catered for. You understand? You are paying huge sums of money, so you should get exactly what you want. There should be a direction. There should be a direction for what the extra teacher will be dealing with. Not that when he comes home, he's always playing, so come and teach you. No, you are wasting money. The children also need to also relax anyway. Now, for me, what I advise is that if your child is performing creditably, he's good, at least he's getting his pass marks in all the subjects, instead of getting extra classes teacher who will come and teach mathematics, science, English, and other things, why don't you think of getting an extra lessons teacher who would come and teach something else? So some language, Spanish, music lesson, piano lessons, a basketball coach, something, a vocal coach, something, an additional skill. So your child has gone to school from 6 a.m. He has closed around 4. When you continue those maths, English, the brain gets tired. So you're just pouring water into basket. You understand? But then if the child were to go for a music lesson, a vocal lesson, some basketball lesson, football lesson, keyboard lesson, something, an additional skill, will yield a lot of results. You should know that the world is going to a level where your academics alone doesn't work for you. You need something extra. You understand? So your child has successfully gone through school, he's become a medical doctor, yet he can sing, he can play the piano. That is another advantage. You understand? So I would rather advise that if your child is okay academically, don't bother the child with such all the subjects, going through all the tutorials and other things. Rather, let them acquire some new skill that will really go a long way to help. So it would even broaden the mind of that particular child. However, if your child is not performing well, then you need to look at the specific areas and speak with the teacher that this is what I want from you, this is what the direction I want my child to go, and then you monitor as well. If not, you're paying a lot of money. And just quick tip, make sure that whoever is teaching your young child is not teaching the person in their home. Is either teaching in a school or in your home where you can monitor, because these days you cannot trust some of these people. They go to the teacher's home to learn for extra lesson. Before you know, the child is raped. So you need to be cautious of this as well. Now, another thing I want to look at briefly is parents complain that my child does not learn when he or she comes home. He's always playing, he doesn't do his homework, so teachers are always complaining. There are a few things that you also need to do. Make sure you create a very conducive atmosphere in the home for learning. Now, if you can afford, or if you have the luxury of having extra rooms in your home where maybe daddy has a study, an office, let the child use that as the place where the child studies or does the homework. It is not good that the child is doing his homework in the living room and everybody else is passing around, someone is even watching television. There'll be divided attention. So what you can also do is that when the child comes back home, when let's say you're living in just a single room or a chamber and hall, so in a hall, get a table, create a small area in the hall, and this is your study area. So you have a timetable for the child. From 6 o'clock to 7, that is when you do your homework. And at that time, no one is switching on the television until the child finishes their work. Create a conducive atmosphere for the child to have the peace of mind to study. Conducive area in the home is very important. Not where the child is doing the homework, television is on, you are sending the child, buy me this, buy me that. No. It doesn't help the child to concentrate at all. It's important that you as a parent, you have a timetable for your child. There should be some sort of regimental, like a military camp, where the children work by timetable. They know wake up time. So depending on where they live, 5:30 the child should be up, prepare for school, come back from school by 4 o'clock, the child is home. The child should rest for some time, take dinner, do your homework, watch a little bit of TV. By 8:30, 9 o'clock, the child should go to bed. And you see, the thing with children is that if you are not disciplining yourself, it goes to affect the child. So once the sleeping time is 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. Not 9:10, not 9:30. But then on Fridays, allow the child to hang around the family a bit. Instead of 9 o'clock, why don't you extend it to 10? Let the child watch a bit of TV. TV does not necessarily spoil the child, but it can anyway. But you should be able to guide them. You should be able to guide them in watching the kind of program they should. But blocking them completely from TV, you realize that they will not be exposed that much. So when they come to school and people are talking about other things, they get curious. Before you know, they're sneaking around, going to people's homes to watch TV. Meanwhile, you have one at home, but because you have asked a child not to watch TV, there are certain things they will not get to know. You understand? For your little child who is in preschool, you should know that television should be guided. It is not all about cartoons. Cartoons these days are not even child friendly. So before you allow your child to watch that particular cartoons program, make sure that you have seen it yourself. You are sure that this cartoon program is safe for your child. Before you know, there are a lot of sex scenes that your child is being introduced, and then they come to school and you practice them. These are things that are happening. These are things that come to my table as a headmaster all the time. So children come to school and they are discussing sex scenes. They are innocent anyway, but who allowed them to watch it? It is us parents. So this is what I have for us today. So briefly, we spoke about extracurricular activities, very important. It shouldn't just be about books. They should do some skill development as well. And then at what point in time should you have extra classes? What kind of extra classes should you have? And then how do you have a conducive atmosphere? I'm trying to rush a lot of things into this so that the video will not be too long. But I'll appreciate it if you have any questions, comments. If you want me to treat a certain topic again, I'll be glad to do so. Please don't forget to follow me at Mr Cadeau the MC, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and also on YouTube. The channel is Mr. Cadeau. Just subscribe, and then yeah, we'll keep doing this. Your comments will encourage me to do this. So thank you. See you in the next episode.